Hi, I'm Lori Evans. I'm Vice President of Service Operations here at Saluna. I'll share a little bit more about what that role means in our next segment. For right now, I just want to take time to thank you all for being here today. I know for sure how busy life gets, and the fact that you've taken time to spend some time with us to learn more about Soluna and shows just how much you care about your teens' well-being, and we're really grateful for that. I want to start off by sharing that I'm a mom. I've raised 3 teenagers and all of the people that come around with them because they're always traveling in packs. And we've navigated, the highs and lows of adolescence. I just remember all of the fun times, all of the challenges. And it can be hard as a parent, you're seeing your child go through all of the things, the emotions and the changes and the good and the bad that comes with being a teenager. Part of our job as a parent is to help them build the skills, develop, the tools that they need to be able to navigate through life's challenges. Unfortunately, we're not given a playbook. Nobody tells us how to do this. We're kind of figuring it out along with them. And we just really hope that we're doing it right. But with that, it really ties into one of the things that I really love about being here with Soluna, and that we are able to support young people through the tough things, the hard things that happen as a teenager, but also the good and also the indifferent, just the day-to-day, learning how to develop coping skills, for example. It's really important to understand how to manage those life events, and we're here to, help everyone figure that out. We really believe that mental wellness is something that every teenager, every young person deserves. They should have support to help them navigate through those experiences, not just when it's hard, but when it's normal, when it's just everyday life stuff. We can help them with that too. Saluna was specifically built for young people, by young people, to give them access and tools to coaching, to journaling, to ways to express themselves, and gain confidence in how to, sort of manage those raging emotions that come through as a teenager, and just, sort of get through life in a healthy way. So, it's also important to us that families are able to get support for the kids without worrying about, cost and how do I deal with referrals, and does my insurance cover this, and what's my out-of-pocket expenses? All of those things, they just add to the challenges that a parent is trying to manage, when all we want is to make sure that our kids have the resources and support they need to help them get through the tough stuff. So we've tried to make it easy. Right? It's why Soluna is a state-funded and completely free program to families. It's not a free service. The state is funding it, but there's no out-of-pocket cost to the families. So you don't have to worry about that being a barrier to your child getting access to the great benefits and the tools that Soluna offers. Today, we're going to talk to you a little bit about what Saluna's one-on-one coaching is like and what that means and what that entails. First and foremost, these are real humans. They're not AI chatbots. They are coaches. They are on my team, and they're here to work with service users where they're at. I'm going to introduce you in our next segment to one of our amazing coaches to learn more about how they approach the engagement with the chat and how we support teens and young people through our platform. So whether you're here because you're worried about your teen, you just want to be able to give them some tools and resources to help them, get through these times and help them build their confidence as they're navigating through these years, you're in the right place. So up next, I'll be joined by one of our coaches, as I said, who's going to share more about Soluna, how they structure a chat, what that looks like, what their goals are for the chats. And at the end of our discussion, we're going to have a fun announcement for you all, so make sure you stay tuned. With me today, I have one of our amazing coaches, Coach Nikki. And let's give you a minute to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Coach Nikki. I'm a coach here on Saluna, and I'm really happy to be here today.
Great. So with Coach Nikki today, really what we want to talk to you all about is really a little bit more about who our Saluna coaches are. Who are these people that are engaging with the teens and young persons that come to our service? What makes them qualified to do their job? The goals of working with a coach. What is coaching all about? Coaching is one of the services that we have available on the Saluna platform, and that is really an opportunity where teens and young people can work one-on-one with a trained mental health professional. And so we'll get into that a little bit more in the next few minutes. Just a note, our service users, when we use that term, essentially that means the teens and young people that come in and access the Saluna platform through coaching and through our forums and whatever mechanism they're engaging in. And we refer to them as service users. So if you hear us talking about that, you'll know what that means. Okay, let's get started. So Nikki, for the audience, can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself and what brought you here to Saluna?
Okay, so my name is Coach Nikki. I've said before, I've been with Saluna for a little over a year now, and I'm based out of New Jersey. I have 8 years of experience in mental health and peer support, working with teens and young adults. I'm also bilingual. And I joined Saluna because I really saw such a powerful mission, and it, I was found the service really valuable. And I really wish that I had access to an app like this when I was a teen. So I feel really lucky to be a part of it and to be able to support our young people.
I love that. Thank you. So really what we're going to do now is we're going to talk a little bit more about what the engagement with a coach looks like. And to get that started, I just I remember being a teen. It's really hard. And, we have coaches here to help them through those challenges, the kinds of things that, you know, navigating, midterm exams and friendships and relationships, and the person that you've been friends with for years is now the next day not talking to you anymore and you don't know why. And, just all of these up and downs, emotions that you go through during those teen and young adult years. And our coaches are here to help people navigate through that. So Nikki, can you tell us a little bit about what a typical chat looks like when someone comes on the service to try to seek some support?
Mhm. So, we like to keep chats pretty flexible because the ultimate goal for a chat structure is really meeting the service user where they're at. Um, so, whatever support that they are seeking, we want to try to be the best for them in that moment and make sure that they're leaving with what they needed that day. Um, so, we really like to adjust kind of our style and our support to meet their needs for that chat. We do have a general outline of how our chats are structured. So, um, in our intro, we like to be very honest and upfront about our policies, our guidelines, and our expectations for the chat. Really discussing our safety policy and our confidentiality policy, and making sure that we emphasize the difference between coaching and therapy. Um, and then as we move forward through that chat, we are providing that safe and empathetic space for the service user to share what brought them into chat, what they wanted to focus on. If they feel like venting, then having that space to vent. And as we move further into the chat towards our conclusion, we're really making sure that we set those goals. If a service user has a goal that they want to focus on, and making sure that they are getting empowered and in touch with coping skills, that they have their little toolkit external of the chat and the platform, and always encouraging them to connect with their parents and trusted adults and school counselors because the more support, the better.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. Um, so, when you're working with the teens and young adults in these chats, there's there's a level of vulnerability that must come forward. I mean, some of these conversations are really, you know, challenging, and some of the things people are going through can be really difficult. How do you try to work with them and building trust and connection so that they can be open and forthcoming with what they're dealing with?
I think first and foremost, that intro of letting them know kind of what we can and cannot do here at Saluna, what I can and cannot offer them. That honesty set as our like foundation, and those boundaries really set the scene for where this chat can go and what the service user is then able to take away from that chat. Then focusing more on like rapport building and being in touch with, our population. I like to stay in tune with all the Gen Z and Gen Alpha slang and memes and all the things so I don't seem too out of touch, which I think can be really helpful when you are having a service user come in with such big emotions and like that level of vulnerability to seek support. Little moments to throw in a little joke or like a little relatable thing can really help to kind of break up all of that like heavy feeling and make the chat flow a little bit better. It makes them feel seen and understood that this person understands kind of my interests and what I like, and really just making sure that they have that safe space that has no judgment. They can be vulnerable and not feel like talking to a friend, and you might feel a bit worried about how your friend sees you after you said that like little difficult thing. Here it's a safe space, and like that coach is never going to judge you, and they're always going to have that welcoming chat to be able to feel heard and seen and validated. So
Yeah, that's so important. Okay, as we're looking to sort of wrap up this conversation, I thought it might be helpful if maybe you could share, when you're closing a chat, when you're ending that engagement with that teen or young adult, what helps you feel like that chat was successful? How do you sort of indicate whether or not that was the outcome was positive?
I think a positive outcome, a successful outcome, what's the most rewarding is that service user leaving that chat feeling heard and supported and validated, just a little bit brighter than and lighter than when they first came in for that chat. And knowing that they were able to get, even if it was just a little bit, something off their chest that day. Um, and they can continue to take that moving forward. And if they decide to set goals and come back to work on those goals, and that's incredible. Um, or use the goal feature in the app and keep themselves accountable, making sure they're set up with those coping skills again so that they feel empowered and confident to manage their mental health external of the app, and being able to use the tools in the app when they can't get those couple of minutes to run away to get a nice chat in or whatever it might be. And we hear our wonderful positive success stories and the thank yous and the words of appreciation from our service users, which are always the highlight of my day.
Yeah, I agree. I love it when the coaches share some of the thank yous and you really made a difference, and it's very empowering, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So okay, well, we want to thank you all for watching today. Thank you so much, Coach Nikki, for joining and sharing a little bit about your story and your experience as a coach here at Saluna. I know I, for one, am thrilled to have you on our team. Next, you'll hear from some other Saluna team members.
Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Tammy Ramos. I am a licensed clinical social worker and a certified clinical trauma professional. I also serve as the Director of Clinical Quality and Education here at Soluna. In my role, I oversee training, the quality of services and procedures that we provide, and the clinical support that our teams receive. So a lot of my work is really making sure that young people have safe, positive, and meaningful experiences and interactions when they connect with us. I'm joined today by my colleague, Allison. Allison, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Allison Lawrence, and I have the privilege of being a field marketing manager here with Saluna. So I get to oversee a group of community engagement leads that get to go into different schools and different organizations, really just spreading the word about Saluna and how it can help support the teens and young adults in your life, hopefully making your jobs easier. So with Tammy here today, we're going to talk about the qualifications and trainings that our Saluna coaches go through. We're going to cover some of our frequently asked questions that we get about coaching, as well as a quick walkthrough of the Saluna app. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about right now about who our Saluna coaches are and what kind of training they receive when they begin here. So every single coach goes through a comprehensive training program before they even begin supporting the young people through Saluna. But they're also entering Soluna with experience and training beforehand. So many of our coaches and practitioners are peer support specialists. They're also SUD counselors, substance use disorder counselors. They have bachelor's degrees in related fields like psychology, social work. And so they're coming to us with a comprehensive package of training as well, but we're also giving that and providing that. The training that we provide covers a lot, like a whole bunch of content. So things like motivational interviewing, goal setting skills, some solution focused work, so that they know how to help the young people that they're supporting talk about what's really on their mind, breaking it down with them and creating some realistic steps moving forward, like goals. They're also trained in risk awareness and response. So like how to recognize when someone might be struggling, if there's a safety concern, how to escalate those situations quickly and appropriately. But another big piece in training also is cultural humility and inclusivity. Our coaches learn how to support young people from different backgrounds and identities and how to bring openness and respect into every conversation in a digital format. And then something close to my heart is trauma-informed practice. Coaches learn how to show up with empathy. They show up in being able to reduce shame. And creating a safe space where young people feel heard and supported. But training doesn't stop there, right? They're not just getting all of this package up front. It's continuous, and that professional development withstands their time with Saluna. So our coaches continue learning always. They take part in workshops, regular refreshers, peer learning groups. They also receive supervision and oversight from licensed clinicians who are with them to support them every step of the way. So while coaching is not therapy, it is a structured, thoughtful, and safe support system led by people who are both well-trained, deeply passionate about helping young people.
Thank you so much for setting that stage, Tammy. I think we're giving our stakeholders a really nice background about what coaching looks like. Now we wanted to talk through some of our most frequently asked questions that we get from educators, parents, really anyone who works with teens and young adults, but can't actually use the app themselves.
Yeah, so we know those people, our parents, our caregivers, our educators, they can't log into the app, right? They can't really see what everybody's doing within here. So this is a way to kind of give them a peek inside. So first question is, how do young people connect with a coach?
Yeah, so all chats with our coaches happen virtually through Saluna. So this means that our users don't have to figure out transportation. They don't have to go anywhere physically. As long as they have the Saluna app, they're able to connect with a coach.
Yeah, I think those are really, really important points because there's a lot of barriers to connecting with support, especially for youth and young people. And so Saluna eliminates some of those barriers, which is amazing. What about availability? When can coaches be there for young people?
Yeah, coaches are available within Saluna 7 days a week. For more specific information on hours and availability, we have an FAQ page on our website, but also users can see their coach's availability and hours within the Saluna app themselves.
Yeah, I think that's reassuring to know as well. Thanks for pointing that out because I think that parents and educators can feel confident that support is available every day. And one more big question, what does the app actually look like for someone who is using it?
Yeah, so I'm so excited for this part. We will be showing the live demo of the Soluna app. Soluna is available for Apple app or Google Play stores for mobile devices or by any web-enabled device as well. So today we'll be mainly exploring the web-based experience of Soluna, which looks a little different compared to on a mobile device, but still shows the same features and tools of Soluna. So we have our homepage with different mental health topics that our users can explore. They can watch videos, they can listen to audio clips, they can read through short stories or articles about a certain health topic. And then going into our tools section, these are self-guided tools that are available 24/7 for all of our users. They can do things like set and track their own goals. They can explore positive affirmations through the Thought Shaker tool. They can focus on their breath work if they need to. They can also journal if that's helpful for them. There's more tools available as well. And with Soluna, these can be available in their literal back pocket. Going into the community page now, I'm on the Explore section, which asks weekly polls and reflection questions. We also have a forum section where users can ask questions, they can seek peer-to-peer connection or advice, all in a moderated environment thanks to our coaches. And then we have our chat feature where users can speak with a real professional coach one-to-one virtually without having to go anywhere. And then we also have a safety tab, which includes crisis resources if or when needed, and also local services that are listed out for our users if they need those as well.
Allison, I love how you showed the different parts of the app. I think that it really highlights what Soluna has to offer, which is so much. Two things that I wanted to acknowledge, because you mentioned two things. Some of the content pieces within the app. Want to acknowledge that everything is evidence-based and reviewed by our clinical team. I'm a part of this review process, but it's also written with that evidence backing and that credibility. Additionally, moderation. Want to explain what moderation is just really briefly. Before anything is live on the app, like in our community forum space, where it looks like there's a post that's written by one of our young people, it's moderated first, which you mentioned. Moderated means that it's reviewed for safety by a real person, one of our coaches, one of our peer moderators. And it also is supported by the clinical team through that moderation, so that everything that is seen within the app that is live and able to be seen by a service user has been checked for safety. Okay. So as we wrap up, I just want to thank you all for being here with us, and a special thank you to you, Allison, for spending some time with me, for walking us through what coaching really looks like, how young people experience the app. This is just one part of the bigger Soluna story, right? And we're really excited to keep sharing more with you. Next, you'll be hearing from one of our Soluna young adult ambassadors, and we've got an exciting announcement to share, so stay tuned.
Thank you for joining today. I am Allison, and I'm going to introduce one of our young adult ambassadors, Shruti. She's actually a lead ambassador for us here at Saluna, and I will let her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be chatting with Allison today and talking a little bit more about my ambassador role. So I recently graduated with a degree in public health from UCLA, and I'm planning on becoming a dentist. I have been an ambassador pretty much since the beginning of 2025, and I loved it so much that after my cohort ended, I knew I wanted to come back immediately and be a lead for the next cohort. So I am still continuing my time with Soluna, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. Okay, I have another question for you, because you are, post-college right now, basically.
Yeah.
If Saluna was around when you were in high school, how do you think it would have helped you or your friends?
Thinking back to it, I think, the majority of the latter half of my high school, when students do tend to get more independent, was, it was mostly the COVID time. So I think in those moments, I definitely felt really isolated from friends. I felt like I couldn't reach out, and everyone was going through so much, and I was like I just didn't really know how to navigate that situation, as many of us did, because it was so foreign. I think having Saluna at that time would have been really great to just be able to connect with someone who gets it. Like you're able to share anonymously in parts of the app. And I think that would have been really great because sometimes, when everyone's going through a hard time, you don't want to be the one bringing up like menial things that do bother you day to day. Like, oh, I'm so bored at home. Like, I'm going insane just sitting in my room when so much is going on. But I think the Saluna app gives like specific platforms and spaces for you to voice whatever you want to say, like whatever you're going through, you can kind of process it out. And I think that would have been really great. Also just teaching like different coping skills that could work, when you are going through more low periods, like throughout high school, not even like in a pandemic. Like high school is stressful, especially like going into like exam seasons at the end of the year or college application. There tends to be a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of comparison, and I think learning the skills and building those up over the years would have been really great to approach that with a stronger like growth mindset and mentality. I think also like going back to maybe like during COVID times, it would have been great to have another source of like how to navigate mental health, because that was all very new to me until COVID hit, when I had the time to like sit and analyze like, okay, like why do I feel this way, and I think having a place like Saluna, like that app that's not social media, would have been really great because I did learn a lot about my mental health through social media, and I think that was a really great experience. But there is a lot of negative negative posts or wrong information out there, and especially when you're so young and vulnerable, like I think it's important to have a dedicated space focused just on that, where you have like a community making sure that it is a safe place. There's no negative talk. We have these filters in place for a reason. I think having that is really good, especially for younger students, because thinking back like 14 years old in like high school, like I might not have been the best at discerning that on social media.
Completely. I mean, what young teenager is skilled to differentiate information versus misinformation, or, a real person versus AI now, like all of those
Yeah,
things too. And that's a lot to put on a young person.
for
So
sure.
having to like
Yeah.
figure it all out and everything, that's just, it takes a lot. And I love that you touched on like the coping skills. I
Mm-hmm.
think we all cope differently, and we have to figure out what works for us and what doesn't work
Mm-hmm.
for us. Shruti, thank you so much for sharing. You are an amazing lead ambassador. We are so lucky to have you.
Thank you to the team who participated today in this conversation and for giving everyone a look at the wonderful work that you all are doing to help support young people through Saluna's coaching services. Whether it's validating emotions, helping people feel heard, or encouraging teens to try new things, our coaches are here to provide support and guidance through it all. When thinking about your child working with a mental health coach or counselor, it's completely normal to feel a mix of emotions. As a parent or caregiver, you may wonder, why aren't they wanting to talk to me? Why aren't they telling me what's going on? If there's something bigger going on, I want it to be on my radar so I can support them. We understand how that feels, and we agree. As you heard from Coach Nikki, we encourage teens to communicate with the trusted adults in their lives to help support them through whatever it is they may be going through. Just keep the tone open and curious and calm, and your consistent presence is going to go a long way to helping them feel safe. Young people being proactive about their mental wellness is a good thing. The more we can help normalize taking care of their mental wellness, like they think about taking care of their overall health, those are skills that are going to benefit them for a lifetime. We can all benefit from those kinds of skills. So if your teens are feeling overwhelmed with school, fighting with a friend, or just feeling stuck, things that every young person goes through, we can all remember those days. You can offer them a reminder that you're there, you're here to support them and to talk to them. And if they want to talk to someone else, Saluna coaches are here for them as well. And now for our special announcement. We're excited to invite you all to join our new Saluna Family Voices community. By registering, you'll get updates about programs and events and opportunities to share your feedback and ideas about our programs. We really want to hear from you. You'll get an email after we wrap with a link to join. You'll also have the chance to request a special mailer with some information and stickers to share with your child, as well as something fun for you. So I just want to thank you again for joining us today. If you know any other parent who may benefit from this information that we've shared with you all, please feel free to forward along the email or the recording. We really are here to help. Thank you all so much again. Take care.